In this week's episode, we take a look at a boring beige shopping center that transforms into a neon wonderland, so stay tuned. Hello everyone, and welcome to Retail Archaeology and Palm Court Center in Chandler, Arizona. This is a neon shopping center that looks absolutely amazing at night. You'll see what I mean here, because first we're going to take a look at it during the day. The nighttime footage you're seeing was filmed back in October of 2019 because originally we had heard rumors that this place was going to be torn down, so I wanted to capture the neon, but we went here just a few days ago during the day and we noticed the sign saying that Phase 3 is coming soon and that they're expanding the place. And as you can see here to the left, there's the new buildings, and it looks like they're matching the same architectural style as the original buildings. Something else I want to point out is the color. It wasn't always just this bland brown mess that it is now. As you can see from these older pictures, there was a touch of color which added a little bit of visual interest that you could see from the street during the day when the neon wasn't lit up. Now they've just gone with this brown and tan, and it's pretty boring looking from the street. Now here's the middle of the shopping center, and you can see that Palm Court Center signage there, but again, it looks so much better with the neon. And as you can also see, half this place is empty on a Saturday afternoon. Let's go ahead and walk up towards this main entrance here. I call it an entrance, it's really just an entrance to a breezeway. But I still think it's really awesome looking. I love these lights as well. Now the shopping center was built in 1987, which I figured it was older than that. I for some reason thought this was built in the 70s, but it was the late 80s. I love old shopping centers with breezeways like this. I like this bench. I guess it's supposed to be a bench. This is pretty cool. This looks like old 1980s mall to me. I love that. I like the way the awning makes the grid of shadows on the ground. But as you can see, it goes all the way through the shopping center, and it goes to this back area that seems like maybe it was originally supposed to be like an employee smoking area or something. It's kind of a weird area. When we were here back in October, there was some really weird stuff going on back here at night, but during the day it actually looks pretty clean. It doesn't look like it gets used much at all. And there we can see a shot back through the breezeway. Now I don't know if you caught it as we were walking through there because this can was visible, but we saw this when we were walking back through, and yeah, that's gross. Like I said, there seems to be some weird things that go on back here, and that was just sitting there. I didn't touch it or anything. I'm not touching that nastiness, but what a weird thing to find. See, this shot's much prettier without that can of product in it. And there you can see a can that looks like it's being used for cigarette butts. Now this spot at the end was a bar originally called the Draft House, which may have been here since this plaza opened. It was also a bar called The Reef at one point, and then lastly it was a place called B Squared Burgers and Brews. It was a really nice surprise to find this original Draft House neon sign on this side of the building. Now if the Draft House sounds familiar, it may be because this was actually the scene of a murder back in 2010. It turns out two guys, or maybe more, got into a fight over a woman in the parking lot of the bar, and as one of the parties was leaving, the other party shot at them in the car and hit one of the guys in the neck and killed him and severely injured another guy, so kind of has a little bit of a checkered past. This place is kind of interesting to look at during the day, but let's take a look at it at night though, when all the neon signs are lit up. So here's Palm Court Center at night, and I love the palm tree neon logo in the middle. There's Hoosier Cafe. That's a fantastic cafe, and once things kind of settle down from all the pandemic stuff, I would definitely recommend trying it out for breakfast. That Pho Vietnam place is also very good. Now, like I mentioned earlier, this footage was shot in October of 2019, and at that time, the B Squared Burgers and Brews bar was still open. So we can kind of get a look at it here, at what it looked like when it was functioning. It was pretty much a sports bar, and unfortunately they closed in December of 2019, just 2 months after this footage was filmed, which was strange because it always seemed like they were doing so well. Now as we can see here, the circle around the Draft House sign lights up, but the actual Draft House part doesn't light up, so that's kind of a shame. Isn't this place just so much more amazing looking at night? There's no missing that neon from the street when you're driving by. And Literally everything has the neon. It just looks amazing. I have to wonder when they expand this place if they're going to put neon on the new buildings. This bench area really reminds me of the mall in the 80s as well. You don't really see stuff like that in newer shopping centers. They don't kind of encourage you to sit around and hang out. I really do love those two neon colors together, that kind of cyan blue color and the pink color. Just looks really striking. Now, something that we ran across that was really funny is it turns out somebody, maybe a SoundCloud rapper or something like that, was shooting a little music video there over in the corner by the massage place, which you can see by all the lighting there. That'd be a great place to shoot an independent music video. Here's another look at Hooters Cafe from the street. And that place, like I said, is amazing. It's been there for as long as I can remember, and it's probably one of my top 5 favorite breakfast places. But yeah, like I'm standing on the sidewalk here on the street, and just look at how bright all of that is. There's not a lot of shopping centers like this around that still look like this. And I'm glad it turns out it's not getting torn down, it's getting expanded. Even something as boring as a carpet store looks pretty cool when it's in a neon shopping center. You know what else would look rad as hell in here is an old school arcade. This place has a pretty eclectic mix of businesses in it as well. There's a few restaurants in it, like this place here, but then there's this building in the back that doesn't really have a sign on it. I had to look up what it is, and it turns out it's a place called The Lab, which is some sort of sports facility. It looks like they have a lot of indoor basketball courts, and they do sports-themed birthday parties, and it looks like they have some sort of basketball leagues that run out of there as well. I really had no idea what it was until I looked it up on Google Maps to see what was here. But again, tons of neon. And it looks like they've taken the liberty of turning one of the balls in front of their building into a basketball. So that's really the only hint of what that place is. I figured it had something to do with sports because of that. Besides restaurants, bars, and sporting facilities, there's also a massage place here. That's where they were shooting the music video earlier. And before you ask, I looked it up. Yes, this is a legitimate massage place. They do things like hot stone massages and those suction cup things that you see people do on their backs. Now here's a look at the breezeway at night, and the neon even continues all the way through, which I absolutely love. It just really adds to the ambiance. Now back there in the very back, I didn't see it until Mark warned me, but there was a guy, you know, tying off and shooting up back there. So that's what I was talking about, interesting stuff going on. So we just kind of gave him his distance and let him be him. How cool does that neon look, though? This place is so interesting because it's beautiful, but there's also obviously some shady stuff going down. But I would definitely recommend checking it out. But let's take a look at some photos I took now so you can see the neon clearer. And to start with, these are actually pictures that I took with my Sony Mavic of floppy disk camera, and these actually came out really great, so I wanted to show them off. I love the way that one looks. If you haven't ever played around with a floppy disk camera, they're pretty great. They kind of add a little bit of an aesthetic to the picture that I enjoy. And you still get decent results. It's just something fun to play with. But now let's take a look at some pictures taken with a more modern camera. And that's the sign that was on the street. But as you can see, that just looks amazing even from the sidewalk. And I love the pink and the blue neon together, like I said earlier. And I am really sad to see the Burgers and Brews place go as well. I've actually eaten there a few times and hung out. It was a pretty awesome place. It seems like that spot has just had a stream of bad luck for bars, unfortunately. And there's the music video being shot. Looks like they're checking out their footage. And one of my all-time favorite breakfast places. This shopping center is just one of my favorites. I'm glad that I finally got enough footage to put a video together on it. I mean, I love neon, so this is one of my favorite places. I just smile even when I'm driving by it. But what are your thoughts on this place? Are you familiar with Palm Court Center? I've known about it for years. It's just been recently that I decided to film it because I thought it was getting torn down, and I'm glad it's not. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. As always, everyone, thanks for watching. Want to see your name here? Head on over to patreon.com/retailarchaeology to find out how you can help support the channel. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out my video on a really awesome neon shopping center. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons, and if you've got a few minutes, why not check out one of these other episodes here. And lastly, make sure to follow at these social media links down there, because that's the best way to keep up with what's going on with the channel.